And we are live. Sun's up. We got a little sunshine this morning. Welcome to the Live Drive Jive Archive with your host, Frank Monday. Alright, we are headed right through the fucking heart of the CBD right now. And we have got beautiful clear skies. Sun's out here shining in the east. It's indicative of, it's a harbinger of the grand equinox coming up on the 22nd of September. That's in 5 days. Wow. Wow. I made it to another equinox. An autumnal, fall equinox, spring equinox. Spring, what the fuck you talking about, Frank Monday? Get your head together, amigo. Good looking, sexy people out in Happy Land. Good looking, sexy people out in Happy Land. Y'all fucking hope you're doing well. I'm hanging in there. Doing as good as can be expected. Had my coffee. I had a cup of coffee and a hot dog this morning. Well, actually, I got my hot dog in the bag. I haven't had it yet. Hot dog in the bag, baby. Woohoo! Party fucking time. It is the 17th of September. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be out in Happy Land. I have got a prayer request for all the witches and warlocks and sorcerers and sorceresses and whoever can pray to whatever God they adore. A good friend of my sister, who's also a friend of my mother, who visited my mother and sister out in Happy Land, has got a granddaughter that's in ICU, and I think there's been scientific research done on the power of prayer. And when folks, I mean, it's magic on some level. No matter how you fucking wrap it in a, you know, if you wrap it in plain brown paper bag wrap or beautiful Christmas wrap, it's all magic in my mind. Intention, volantia, the sending out of good wishes, and earnest desire for someone to pull through whatever tragedy and suffering has befallen them. So Tawny something, I just know her by her mug book name. Tawny has made a prayer request for her granddaughter who's in ICU. I didn't see the name. I was looking down the post, and I don't know if they want to reveal the name of the girl or not, but I thought you could triangulate better if you ask your gods by name for the young girl. But so anyway, just say Tawny's granddaughter, I guess. So let us pray. Lord of the universe, vast and the mighty one, we humbly beseech you this morning, along with all of your earthly divinities and demigod manifestations. Get old Pan in there, man. He's a good one at inspiring people for a lusty nature to stay alive. Oh my gosh, what is up, bro? I mean, wander on the highway, sure, right? That's fine and dandy, but don't wander straight into the fast lane. Guy comes in on the entry lane doing 40 and wants to wander straight over into the fast lane. It's like, brah. Yeah, so shout out to all y'all good looking sexy people out there. Pray for Tawny, Tawny. I don't even know if I'm saying her name correctly. Tawny. Pray for Tawny's granddaughter. She's found herself in a bit of a pickle, which even the best of us do from time to time. You know, wow. Party fucking time, huh? Jesus. Dear Lord, we ask you to send a whole slew of your beneficial angels to help that young girl, a granddaughter. Don't know how old she is, but she's Tawny's granddaughter, and she needs your aid and assistance. And I know that you do offer it, good Lord, because healing spirits came my way, and angels stood at the side of my bed as they cracked open my melon and tried to save me from a brain hemorrhage last year. And I don't know, but I'm firmly, how am I going to word this? I don't know, but it seems like having that reason, those people at your bedside and around the world, to reach out with their sincere and genuine hope that you do well, really seems to help. Even if it's just psychologically in the form of a placebo effect. As I went into surgery, knowing that folks were praying for me gave me some level of psychological comfort, spiritual succor, and that goes a long way in aiding in one's recovery and survival of such critical situations. So I humbly beseech thee, good Lord, to do what you can, do what you may, and that your angels assist. And I ask all these things in the name of the divine Trinity, the triad of supernals at the top, bringing it down from the... Wow, these guys are just assholes and idiots this morning. Bringing it down from the top, Kether, even before Kether, the preforms of the Ein Sof-Or, the limitless light, radiate and penetrate through the Godhead of Kether down into Chokmah Bina, polarizing and bringing all things into the manifest sphere for the benefit of ourselves and our neighbors and friends and families and the greater community of folks that fight the good fight. That little girl may be a fighter of goodness and truth and justice and freedom and all that good stuff. She may be a catalyst one day. You never know. She might be a what's the word I'm looking for? A lever. A lever that sways the fight in the direction of a good outcome. So I pray for her. I don't think nobody should have to go through that, and especially young, little bitty peoples that you know, the mother and father yeah, nobody should have to go through that. So you've got my prayers, love, and good wishes. Let's get on with your bad self. If I was nearby, I'd go by and say hello, you know, if that were appropriate, and bring a, you know, a teddy bear or something, or you know, whatever's appropriate in that type of situation. I'll tell you how it went down for me. My wife's family is a big part of the reason why I agreed to marry my wife, agreed to marry her. The reason I aligned with her and thought that she would be a suitable choice for me had a lot to do with her family. I met her younger brother, cousin brother. They call him brother, but they're cousins. She grew up with him like a brother, you know, as much as could be done during the situation here in Beijing, because it was a one-child policy. So every, you know, brother, sister, or cousin, or whatever that was in that strata, the same age range, they were raised together as calling each other brother and sister, because they still wanted to try to build that mammalian hierarchy of deferring to your brothers and sisters, elder brothers and sisters, or younger brothers and sisters, because that's a time-honored tradition. Anyway, I was in a situation in management in Boston when I met she's my girlfriend at the time, but now my wife, Mrs. Monday. And a huge play in her favor was her brother David, younger brother, younger cousin, brother's cousin, sister, whatever. I fucking already explained it. Jesus Christ, I'll just call him her younger brother. He came to help me out in a situation I was left with to handle that was beyond my means as a manager, and I had a team of overnight stock guys underneath me. Or, you know, I was manager and they were all the labor. And I never lorded it over them. And they had all quit by the end of the season, the Christmas season. And I was left with like 2 warehouses that I had to manage within like 3 days. I had to get this shit done, or that my regional manager told me I had to get done. I could have walked off the job like everyone else, but I'm not that type of character. My type of character is, I've been assigned a position, I stick to it, I got a job bigger than I can handle, fuck it, get in there 24/7 and get it done. So I was in that situation, and I asked the girl, she was just my girlfriend, we'd only been dating for a few months, and I asked her to come help me, Mrs. Monday, and she was studying for her, you know, her dissertation on her MBA, and she's like, fuck, I can't spare the time, you know, you're on your own. She said, but you know what I'll do is I'll call my little kid brother and ask him if he can come help you. And she called him, and he did. He showed up, and he stuck it out with me. He showed up 2 of the 3 work days and was there with me for 12 hours at a time as my assistant in helping me organize and move all of this product from one storage center, a warehouse type storage center, into another one. We had to evacuate one and restore it in another location to forego being, do I even got enough money? Yeah, I got the money right here. To forego being charged, another month's rent or whatever, or that's what they told me. $5. 你好。谢谢。Bye. So, good-looking guy running the toll booth. Handsome fella. So, what am I fucking talking about? Oh, that swayed me really far in deciding that she was the type of gal that I wanted to align my energies with, because it wasn't her. I was taking a broader context into consideration. I'm like, the sincerity, genuineness, and spirit of her little brother is what sold me on the deal. It wasn't even her. I mean, a gal's a gal in my mind, in my opinion. I knew that they're all very similar in, you know, having a wife. And her character too at the time was convincing. But I know that gals, when you're dating them, or even me, you know, when I'm dating someone, you put your best foot forward each and every time, and you watch your P's and Q's, because, you know, you're looking for the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. But he had nothing in the game, right? But when he met me and talked to me, we struck a harmony that he was willing to reveal his true self, and here's what it was. Through the eyes of the son, I could see the work ethic of the father, and that's what sealed the deal. I knew that his name was David Wong. I knew that David's father was a man of noble character, because a man of noble character does not raise a rat child. And David proved to be a dragon. He didn't want any money. He refused to accept any money for the work. He stuck to virtuous principles the whole time and worked tirelessly for a 24-hour period out of 48 hours without a single fucking complaint. And bringing all of his intelligence and stamina and endurance and enthusiasm to the job. You know, he knew it was just going to be a 3 days. He agreed to come for 2 of the 3. Actually, he only agreed to 1, but he showed up for 2. He said, I'll come and help you for a day. And then I was like, wow, you know, he saw the size of the fucking job. And he's like, Jesus Christ, man, we can't finish this in 3 days. He's like, fuck it, let's get it done. And he's like, you're not gonna survive it if you're on your own. He knew that. He sized up the situation. Fuck, I knew I couldn't get it done. And so with the 2 of us, we figured out a fucking way to get it done, which was to work 36 hours in 3 days. I think the last day I ended up working like 18 hours on my own, non-stop, you know, just coffee and fucking donuts to get it done. And for that season, out of 15 American employees and me as the manager, by the end of the season and the end of that job, when they saw the way it was going down and that it wasn't going to be able to be finished and shit, they were like fucking rats jumping off a sinking ship. And I lost every American on the job. And the only person that came to help me in the final hours was a Chi-Com college kid with no fucking skin in the game and not asking for a dime in return. And that sold me on the spirit of the work ethic of the Chinese individual. And I didn't need to be sold, because I'd been working with Chinese folks. And I'm not talking about like elite level folks. I'm talking about your upper poverty class guys that are out of the basic work camp but have gotten educations and battled their way through the Chinese public education system to rise to a position where they could go to school internationally and so on and so forth. And yeah, so that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. There are idioms and wisdom within and if you're out there in Happy Land and you're listening to my story, I know some of you do, and I know Sandra Sue out there in Whiskey Town, where streams of whiskey flow. No, you met David. He came to visit you and pay his respects, just because I asked him, you know, because I couldn't make it out there to Happy Land to say hello, and he was out there. And so I asked him to go by and say hi to you guys. And he did, you know, again, with no skin in the game. And I knew that was the type of spirits that were in her family. And so that's why I chose to pursue her as a girlfriend and a wife. And ultimately, it's what convinced me to, you know, to stay with her and get married and integrate, you know, on a grander level, because I knew that, hey, it's not just her, it's the whole family. You get the whole family. When you marry a gal, you marry her whole family. What's up, bro? Stay in your fucking lane, man. Yeah, so I don't need to justify to y'all why I'm with Mrs. Monday, but that's part of the story right there. And I'll bring to you Grandmaster Gao An. My Chinese surname is also Gao, so I've read a lot of Gao An. I like him. He's from Foshan Mountain. He was a Kung Fu guy on the Foshan Mountain in Fujian province, China, southern China. He wrote in his Analects that the ancients were never afraid to work hard, even down to husking grain and preparing food and working in textiles. Never afraid to work hard, even down to husking grain and preparing food, immersed in common labor, because they knew that the truth of reality is given birth, comes forth from that mentality of working hard and what's called gradual development and gradual accumulation. I see some of these labor folks in the lowest echelons of this society making 2,000 RMB a month. Okay, that's what their take-home pay is. And a portion of that has to pay for things like their uniform and other sundries, but they get a basic, they get room and board. So that's above and beyond room and board. They get to take home like 1,200 to 2,000 RMB, which is how much US? 6 into 20 goes approximately 3 times, right? 7 times 3 is 21. Yeah, so they get to take home approximately 300 bucks US a month. But here's the thing, they save up nearly 100% of that $300 a month. So they're pushing ahead at the tune of $3,000 to $5,000 US, which ain't shit really, but 3,000 savings per year. And they're so fucking frugal and hardworking that that's enough that they know that over the course of a couple of generations, they can build that into something. They can build it into a 100 square meter hovel that they could call their own, and it's never theirs either. And they do all this with the firm knowledge that nothing will ever belong to them, and that maybe their great grandkid will be able to inherit a bauble from them that will make their life a little easier. And that's fucking mind-blowing, because in America we were able to do so much with so little for so long that so many people got this attitude of, oh, just throw it all away, it doesn't matter, just material possessions, blah blah blah. No, it's not the material possessions, it's the strengthening of the family core and respecting the hard work of your ancestors and your forefathers, and knowing that people did that people worked 100-hour work weeks to make your life just a little bit easier and a little bit freer, and to work your ass off and respect that, and have the same sense of duty and to have that same sense of duty that you're willing to give your life and hard work to continue the tradition, and to respect that. And so that's my message for you this morning. And I'll sum it up with this, because I have babbled a long fucking time on this video, and that's all right. That's the way it works. Oh God, here's the intersection where people are got their heads straight up their asses. Come on, guys, really? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. And it's this guy's fault in the Volkswagen. He's just letting them all go. He's like, it's all right, guys. You can just pull into traffic and... Okay, so thank you for finally getting your ass through, dummy. Anyway, I'll sum it all up with this Chinese idiom. It's called Tie Chu Mo Cheng Zhen. So Tie Chu Mo Cheng Zhen is about Li Bai, and he was a young scholar and poet that had it all. Good upper middle class family, not a royal family, upper middle class in the Tang Dynasty. And he loved to party, and he had a bit of talent, genius, literary genius with poetry. And he wrote a couple of good pieces at various parties and so on and so forth that got recognition, but he wasn't willing to work hard, and he loved to party, chase skirt all day long, and stay drunk. He was turning into a wastrel in his mid-20s, and so he was walking by a cottage or a village of the peasant class, and there was an old peasant lady out there, you know, great grandmother style, and she had a piece of iron in her hand, and she was rubbing it on she was rubbing a piece of iron on a sharpening stone or whatever, or a stone. And he looked down at her and he thought, what fucking useless behavior, because he didn't know what was going on. You know, young man doesn't know everything in the world, thinks he knows it all, but doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground. And he said, old lady, what the hell are you doing? Because she's rubbing away, you know, and throwing water on there or whatever. And she says, I'm making a needle. And he's like, you're making a needle out of that piece, you know, that iron bar or whatever? He's like, that's fucking insane. You'll never be successful. You're a kook. And so he went on his way. But the scene stuck with him. And he went back by there, you know, a few months later or whatever. It took a while, like by and by. Days turned into weeks, into months. And finally she had this beautiful, sharp, arrow straight, perfect needle that she had crafted. And he was dumbfounded. He was gobsmacked by it. And he thought, the whole scene, the whole situation changed his mind about his life. It was an epiphany moment for him, an aha moment. Now, maybe this legend is just BS, right? But it highlights the work ethic of gradual progress. That you keep at it, you keep your nose to the grindstone, and you stay with firm intention and purpose to get that little bit of work done. I mean, one little needle, right? Took the old woman months to fashion, or however long it takes to carve a piece of iron into a needle. I don't know the exact details, because I'm like Li Bai. Li Bai basically turned his life around. He got the alcoholism under control, and he never stopped drinking, but he stopped being a wastrel. And he put, for a good 10 years, he put his whole heart into his poetry. And it gave him the opportunity to let his talent flourish into genius. And he wrote quite a bit of poetry that has affected the popular culture of China since time immemorial. And that's the type of shit that they never let go of. That story is 1,000 years old. The Tang Dynasty was 1200 AD, right? And his poetry has survived and been recirculated throughout Chinese culture, pop culture, kept in the pop culture. That's what the hip-hop guys sing about today. There was a song just a couple of years ago that came out and reached #1 status, where the singer made a poppy catchy tune or whatever. And I was into Tang Dynasty poetry since day one, and I wrote my own poetry based on using Li Bai's poetry as mentor text when I was at Tsinghua University over here, which is the top university in Beijing, in China. It's #1. It's like the Harvard. Well, it's like the MIT. Harvard is Beida, but Tsinghua is the MIT or whatever, you know, of China. That's what they call it. Anyway, what's my point in this? My point in the story is this, because I'll finish. Jesus, good God in heaven, man, it's gone 30 minutes. The old Chengyu goes like this. If you're interested in learning Chinese, it's Tie Chu Mo Cheng Zhen, or iron rod is turned into a needle. And they accompany it with all kinds of other expressions and stuff too, like as long as your kung fu is good enough, then you can turn the iron bar into a needle. And it means that as long as you work hard enough, that you will ultimately arrive at fruition to your goals. And so it's all about rolling up the sleeves and working hard and not being afraid to work hard and get shit done. Yeah, that's it. So remember those ethics and the ones you've been taught, nose to the grindstone, you know, keep at it, that kind of thing. Never give up. And remember, Frank Monday is always your well-wisher. And I love y'all good-looking, sexy people out in Happy Land. As above, so below. I will see you in the abodes of the future. And 再见 for now. Good magic, everyone.